I'm going to show how to break a chain using the Park CT3 tool. In addition, well, I'll break the chain, reassemble a chain, then we'll actually go through using a Powerlink on a SRAM chain and how to break and assemble a chain using the Powerlink, which I have in my hand right here. Okay, so first let's talk about the Park tool. This is really nice because the pin remover is replaceable. So if this ever gets bent or mangled or something, you can actually just remove this from the tool and put a new one in, which is really nice. Great. So, and actually let me say a few things on why I would break a chain. Before we talk about breaking chains, it might be interesting to figure out why one would break a chain. Well, one reason one would break a chain if your drivetrain is worn out and you're going to replace, the chain. And usually when you replace a chain, if the entire drivetrain is worn out, you're going to replace pretty much everything, including the cassette and the chainring. However, if you do replace a chain a little more frequently, usually about every 1,000 miles, you can get away with just replacing the chain. So that will be one reason. Number two is if you're going to clean your chain. For some reason, if you have a lot of dirt and it creates some friction, you want to remove it, clean it, put something like white lightning, for example, to keep it clean for an extended period. That would be another reason to break your chain. Okay, so now we understand why we would break a chain, so let's actually go through the process. So first I'm going to put the chain into the tool, like so, with a pin, any given pin on the chain, lining up with the pin remover, and I'm just going to turn this and, push the pin out. Ideally, I'm going to feel the pin going through, like all the faces of the chain, and ideally, I'd like to keep the pin protruding outside the outer face a little bit on the inner edge. So let's take a look. Actually, I don't think I pushed it out enough, so let me just give it a little bit more. Definitely pretty close. I think we might be there. And great. So now this is nice because, as you can see, the pin is actually extending, inside the face as well as obviously outside the face. And why that's nice is because when, so now I've broken my chain, I can go clean it, replace it. Assuming I'm just going to clean it, I'm going to put it back. Because it's protruding, it'll actually fit in. It'll snap into place, which is great. So now that I have it in the right place, I would put the chain back in the tool. Obviously the pin is going to be on the other side because I have to push the pin back in. Again, I'm going to line it up, the pin remover, and just push. I'm going to again, feel, I feel it going through. I feel the resistance. And, I just want to make sure everything's okay. I'm going to move it around a little bit. You want to make sure the link that you're braking is going to be nice and flexible when you put it back in. Otherwise, it's going to create a lot of problems. And it generally feels okay. Let's take a look at what we did. So I'm going to have to work this free a little bit. Usually I'd put some white lightning in there or something and play around with it to free it up. But generally that's exactly the procedure to break and reassemble a chain. And I guess that's a little, old style. SRAM chains have this Powerlink, which I can just put together like so, and it almost like so. I guess it's easier when it's on a chain. And, essentially that would be the link. So if I had a SRAM chain with the Powerlink, I would just put the one side in as such, and the other side, hope I'm not going to get both on the same side, it doesn't matter. And I can just go like so. Let me take this this off, make my life a little bit easier. So I have this in my hands, so the chain might not be perfectly, I have a twist in it here, but that's irrelevant because we're just showing how it's done. And it snaps perfectly into place, so, this is how you would assemble a SRAM chain with a Powerlink, and taking it apart would be exactly the same.